Hey, how we doing? My name's Jeremy Evers, and I'm doing a podcast right now, mainly to talk about what in my college social media class that I'm taking at Columbia College University. This class was very crazy start because I went into it, it's a media class, and I'm thinking, oh wow, I think I know almost everything about media. I use YouTube, I use social media, I use the internet all the time. And I was just like, dang, this can't be that hard of a class, It's stuff that I've been around for quite some time now, really. And I mean, I like to think I'm pretty tech savvy when it comes to anything media slash technology related. Um, First off, I want to start by saying that media is a fantastic form to get yourself out there. There's so many different ways you can get out in media. You can use YouTube, like I'm using now through Google Hangouts. Um, you can use social media and create your own content. On Twitter, you can tweet and do all these things and interact with other followers. And you have Instagram that you can create short videos, pictures, anything you want that you want to share to your followers. And I have all kinds of experience with that using any type of social media, really. And YouTube is just it's massive. It's gotten to be such a big thing over the past few years. I know I've used YouTube for quite some time now. Some people would say I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to watching YouTube videos. I can just scroll for hours. And this class, we definitely went over all of that, but there were so many other things that I didn't realize you could utilize media for. The first thing I just want to talk about is using media in a way to create your personal brand. And at first, I didn't realize that a personal brand was what you want people to know you as, and I didn't think that even if I wasn't, a content creator or anything, that I had my own personal brand. Um, Personal brand can be anything from how you act in your day-to-day life. So like everyone knows you as your personal brand. They expect you to act the way they know. And I knew that, but I didn't know you could have an online personal brand. By that I mean not just the stuff you show in your day-to-day life, but how you act on social media, um, other content creating sites like YouTube and stuff. So I was like, oh, well, personal brand doesn't really relate to me that much because, I don't put myself out there on like YouTube or stuff like that much. I do use these a lot, but I use them more for my pleasure on viewing content, not me making my own content. Um, so I go into it, and we're talking about building your personal brand, and it just made me realize that your personal brand is massive these days. You have anything from your professional personal brand, how businesses react to you and what they do, um, and also just your personal social brand, who you are and everything. This class really taught me how to build a personal brand, around myself while making sure that personal brand is very professional. The first one that really kind of opened my eyes, I guess, we did an assignment on your LinkedIn profile. And I'd made a LinkedIn profile, I guess 2 years ago. I was in a different class at a different university, and it was just I think an intro level business class. And one of the assignments was to just draft up a LinkedIn profile and add like my resume and a bunch of other little things to it. But after that, I didn't really didn't use it any more than that. So it was kind of weird thinking about, I understand the use for it and everything, but this class really opened my eyes to how LinkedIn can be such a use, especially in the professional business, anything professionally. You can use LinkedIn for everything. So I really learned, not just what LinkedIn can be used for, but how to do that. That was one of the massive things that like I'll be taking away from this class is that LinkedIn it's an amazing resource for people that are trying to network in a professional environment. It's away from, I mean, partially away from your other social medias, but it's a place where you don't really go around and just follow all your friends and do all that. You really get into it. For me, I started following a lot of people that are in my field, which I'm marketing, by the way. So I'm going for a marketing degree, and I started following people that were, higher up in the marketing field, and also people that were doing marketing, in my area. Um, and I've like found so much content, especially from the people in my area, uh, especially the ones that are very active on LinkedIn. They post so much content that relates to me because they're already in the marketing field, but they're around me too. And then professionals that, higher up people that are doing marketing for big companies, they post so many different articles and things that are just massive that you can learn so much from. LinkedIn is just a huge opportunity to build yourself and learn more about your field and what's actually going on, not just the things that you think are going on or the things that media put out. The next thing was blogs. Everyone kind of knows what a blog is. You see people, you see blogs on the internet, and you may or may not read a blog every once in a while. But I didn't realize that how much goes into creating a blog, and like when you get on a blog website and like you find a blog that you like, they put a lot of work into those, just their website in general, their blog site, put a lot of work into that, and their content they put out. It's some of these blogs are weekly, some of them are daily. You never know, and they put on a lot of work just to create that content for people. So we had to create our own blog, and that was one big thing because again, like I said before, I've never really put myself out there that much. So I was like, okay, wow, this blog, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like, how do I get my feelings into this blog while also the blog had to be about our personal brand? How do I make this blog about my personal brand, more me? How do I make these words come out and be about me, but still relate to the topic and be words that people can actually relate to and want to read that blog again? Um, After doing that, I've just found that you can do anything. People don't realize, like I've been down this road. I was not that person that, put myself out there and created a lot of content. I mean, I've created a lot of content for myself. I like to race motorcycles and stuff, and I have all kinds of GoPro footage of, you know, on track racing motorcycles, in a controlled environment, not on the road or anything, but on actual tracks. And just realizing that, man, I can make this podcast. Why could I not, you know, make videos or anything around, just what I like to do. Um, and the cool thing is like I learned more about um, that now I see it everywhere. I watch a lot of YouTubers. There's two that come to my mind all the time. They're both in the car field. They work on cars, modify them and stuff. And I didn't realize before, whenever I watched their content, really that personal brand relates to everybody. You know, I kind of saw them for who they were and how they act. But once I started, you know, realizing this, you know, I go back and like think about some of the videos they've done. One guy by the name of TJ Hunt um, has a fantastic personal brand. He's a, you know, seems like a great person. I've never met him in real life, but I've seen so many of his videos, and ever since the start, he's always been at the end of the video. He has a little saying, you know, keep moving forward, and you know, I was always like, yo, that's really cool. You know, he cares about people and stuff like that. And I realized, you know, that's his personal brand that he wants to get out there, that, you know, he breaks it down and you can do anything. You know, to never let something just stop you and to always keep moving forward. And every once in a while, if you watch any of his videos, you know, he'll kind of elaborate on that. And he had a video a while back. It was a video going over his older videos, like they were doing like a reaction video. And at the end of it, he was just like, "Man, this is where I was, you know, 2 years ago. It was really hard for us. You know, I didn't have views. We didn't know if it was continuing, like, didn't know how to do it or how to bring people in. And he didn't know if it was worth it." And then he was like, well, you know, I tell people to keep moving forward every single video. Like, how can I just stop this? And now he's one of the biggest YouTubers in the car community. And he does a fantastic job of, you know, I don't know how well he motivates other people, but I know at the end of every video, you know, that keep moving forward resonates with me more now, knowing his personal brand and that, you know, he wants to help people get through things that he once, you know, had trouble with. YouTuber. His name's Adam LZ, and he does car stuff a lot. So he's mainly a car channel, but he started out doing like BMX videos, riding bicycles and stuff. And he's a great guy too. The thing about him is he just does so much for the community, the car community, and you know his personal community that he's surrounded by. The one thing that comes to mind, he's getting ready to do it's basically slash open house. This year he ended up getting a new shop for his company, his clothing company, and it's also a shop for cars and stuff. So he owns quite a few cars, but he's a car YouTuber. He uses that shop to have his employees that work on his cars, and he can and has it there that they can, you know, do their orders for the merchandise and stuff. And he's getting ready to do an open house for that. That is also a Toys for Tots drive. I just thought that was really cool that, you know, he has all these fans that he's gonna tell, you know, hey man, you all can come out and hang out with me all day long, see, you know, the shops, some of my cars. Which, I mean, for me as a whole, as a person liking his content, like that's an awesome opportunity just to go see him, you know, and like actually be able to talk to this guy that has, you know, millions of followers on many of his social accounts. And it's just crazy that, you know, on top of that, he's going to allow people to come out and meet him and like actually be around him and hang out. He's also going to have people bring toys. Every video that's been leading up to this, he's been, you know, telling people, you know, we're going to have a trailer out there. We're trying to fill it. Like, these kids, you know, they need Christmas presents and stuff. And he, you know, it's just awesome to know that he cares about his community, and he's building his personal brand about around the car community and around, you know, caring for your community around you. Doesn't matter if you're in the car community or not, or if you're not really in a community but you live around people, like that's your community too, and that you can help them out no matter what. um and it's just it's insane how some of these people that, you know, they seem kind of untouchable now because they, you know, they're internet famous, they, you know, have so many followers, and they don't always seem like real people until they do stuff like that. And it's just it's magnificent in my opinion. This course though has taught me just that, with me being a savvy person, that I thought I already knew, kind of. Learned how to do that blog, like I said. That was just, you know, it was wild because I was like, man, I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know how to, build my own website around my personal brand. I don't know how to just react and carry myself in a blog and like express everything. Um, it's really amazing how a class like this that I thought I wouldn't really learn a ton in, I learned so much, and all these things are so useful to me. Um, LinkedIn, like I said, LinkedIn is one of those things that now I have full control and use of, and I understand how to use it, that I can build myself up in a professional way. I can network with many people that are in my community and use this to become a better, not just person, but a better like employee whenever I do graduate. I can use, my blog if I want to. I would like to keep going with my blog. I can use my blog to hopefully, build a more known personal brand. And not just that, but I'd like to, I like my personal brand to be uplifting to people, and I'd like to, be like TJ Hunt one day, where, even if it's just me that feels something, or and has to think every time he says keep moving forward. I just want to have that effect on, even if it's just one person. That's awesome. Um, it's been a wild ride. We've it's so do other social medias, not just LinkedIn, in a more professional way. Those social medias can, help so much. And then now this podcast, a week, a small podcast assignment, and it was on your personal brand. And I mean, it was only 2 minutes. Just talk to people. Um, I like to think I'm very good at like actual interaction with people. I'm a bartender, so I'm kind of used to, being around and just being able to talk to people and read how they're going. But a podcast is totally different. You're in a room talking to yourself. So like, how do you come out and act the right way, sound the right way without, trying to talk to an audience without knowing, how they're reacting to it? Because, you don't see it until after, unless they comment. Sometimes, if you're starting out, someone may never comment on podcast. You don't know if you're doing something right. So I'm like perfectionist type. I'm super nervous. I did my take, probably at least 20 different times because I just didn't think I sounded right. I stumbled on words because I'm just talking to myself. I'm not having this time of really thinking. You're just talking. And this podcast, that podcast, I did it. I was like, wow, this is something I don't think I'm very good at. But it's something that maybe I could keep doing, and it's something that like could help me, not just, with coming out on social media and like being more myself and pushing myself out past my, limits and fears. um it's something that I can relate back to, what I do on a personal everyday basis. I go out and talk to people. um Sometimes I realize that I'm not, not fully there. Like, I run through it. I talk to, many different people each day, and I'll catch myself just like either not really like listening, but not really listening, and I comment back, which is not a big deal because I don't ever not fully listen. But this podcast made me really more aware of how I talk and how I act and everything. And it's helped me learn to talk to people in a more understanding way, to where they will understand that I'm fully listening and that I'm reacting, the best way possible to everything. Now we're doing this. It's supposed to be 5 minutes long, a full podcast on this course, and it's awesome because if I would have been told, say 9 weeks ago before I started this class, hey, you're gonna have to do a 5 minute podcast right now. Could you do it? And a live podcast at that, where if you mess up, like it's live. There's no just stopping, deleting. Like it takes time to delete and do all that stuff. And I would have been like, no, there's no way I could do that. Like I would have been nervous, jittery, everything. It just wouldn't have happened. So doing this podcast now, I've found a lot more comfort in the way that I talk to people and relay my message with my personal brand. And I just think that overall, that's gonna be super helpful for me in being more confident with the way I address other people and with the way I feel that I'm actually conveying my personal brand to them. I mean, that can help just everyday day of life. Whenever you're just talking to people, talking to your friends, it can help with conversations, and it can also help in a business way. You go into interviews, everyone gets so nervous in interviews because, well, it's something on the line, but at the same time, I think a lot of people get nervous because the interviewer doesn't really talk that much. They more ask questions and you end up talking the most. And people will just get so nervous with that because they're not used to it. I think this podcast is going to really help me professionally be able to come out and talk my way through an interview and answer all the questions in the way I think, but also be able to convey my personal brand in those answers and not feel so nervous, not be, a wreck, just like shaking and, because I know a lot of people like they have anxiety about stuff and like you just go in there and you're shaky, sweaty. And like I used to be like that. And I don't think I'll be like that anymore after this class with everything that I've learned, everything that I've had to do. I mean, it's just made me so much more comfortable using not just, talking to people, but using technology, using media in a way that like I can get out there, I can talk to people using media in my professional world. It's been mind blowing that this course in 8 weeks has changed my thoughts and made me learn so many different things about media. And using that with your personal brand and creating that. Um, it's been fantastic, though. Thank you all for listening to my kind of, I guess you would call it a little bit of a rant on what I thought I knew media was. But thanks again for listening to me.